Hello, I'm author Denise Turney, the author of the book Love Pour Over Me, and I encourage you to get a copy in ebook or print format. You can get a copy at our website, Chistel, CHISTELL.com, or any online or offline retailer. So on this Chistel.com YouTube session, what we're going to discuss, what this session topic is spot limiting writing patterns. Spot limiting writing patterns. And I encourage you to subscribe to this channel again. And why? Because with more than 20 years of experience, I'm not giving you tips and advice on things I've read in the book. And I've interviewed many successful business leaders. And these are people who have multi-million and billion-dollar businesses and New York Times bestselling authors and Essence bestselling authors. And I've got a lot of years of experience with novel writing and nonfiction writing, and have worked for some major Fortune 100 companies. So I'm not giving you something I read in a book. This first-hand experience that you can get for free by just simply subscribing. Just hit the subscribe button to the Chisel.com YouTube channel. If you don't think I'm sharing valuable information, then you don't have to do that. But I'm not gassing you up. I'm sharing valuable information, things I have learned firsthand here that I'm just sharing with you for free that you can really start to take advantage of and implement. I wish I had taken advantage of more of this when I was younger. When I started freelance writing, I did read a book by a woman who said she made over, I think, either 125,000 or about a quarter of a million a year from freelance writing. Then I figured she knows what she's talking about because she's done it. I still use the advice and tips that she shared that I read in that book several years ago before I started out on my freelance writing career. So I really encourage you. You don't want to learn everything the hard way. You just don't. It's just too expensive. It's too time expensive, too money expensive. Let somebody who's been there help share some tips and advice with you. So today I'm talking about spot limiting writing patterns. Sigmund Freud, he was the great psych psychologist who really discovered that we have a subconscious mind. Anyway, he said that humans, we have this repetition compulsion. And in other words, the way it was worded was we want to go back to or return to an earlier start, an earlier event. And you can see it when people become very emotional. There's a lot going on in the subconscious generally when we're very emotional. People can go back and do childish things and sometimes become violent and later regret it tremendously. But they've gone back. They've reverted back. Or when we get in stressful situations, if we haven't drank alcohol or soda in a long time, we might find ourselves going back, even if we've not done it in a long time. So it could be an earlier state, going back. It could be in an earlier state of a relationship. How many people, when the relationship, the brain stops doing what it does during the infatuation stage, they find a reason. It generally is subconsciously because they'll blame the other person, and they'll break the relationship off and then go into another one because they want that early start again. Or some people, they go from one worship center or church to the next. Soon as that newness wears off, boom, they got to go to the next one. I wonder sometimes if they started leasing cars for that reason. It's like, I need that new car. So as soon as you've had a car 2 or 3 years, time to get another one. I got to have that new experience. Going back to that earlier start, the same thing with jobs. Somebody's been at a job a year or 6 months. They're complaining. They're finding a lot of things wrong with the job. The subconscious is going to work, saying we're going back to that repetition compulsion. We're going back to the start. You're going to quit this job. You're going to get another new job. 6 months or a year into that one, you're going to start complaining about stuff there. And you're going to just keep going and keep going and keep going until you really deal with what's happening. So those are just a few examples. And as a writer, what are some of your patterns? Because when we think about this repetition compulsion, this compulsion to repeat, repeat, repeat. And some psychotherapists have said we get some patterns that are so ingrained in the mind that when certain stimuli come up, we almost immediately go back and do something we've already done over and over and over again. Even if we know it doesn't pay off, we'll still do it. So do you always apply for the same low-paying writing jobs? And if so, why? How long have you been freelance writing or writing as a part-time or full-time employee? Why do you keep going back to the same projects over and over? Why don't you expand what you're doing? Why do you keep going back? What is the limiting belief that's keep you? And you might complain that the jobs, I have to work all the time because these jobs don't pay well. Why don't you go after a better paying job then? What is stopping you? Do you always tell yourself, talk yourself out of wanting more? Like, oh, you want a promotion. You just not satisfied. You're just not grateful. Don't you feel blessed with what you already have been giving? Why do you always have to want more? Why not? That's another question too. Why not? So, and do you avoid asking for an increase, a rate increase as a freelance writer? Do you avoid letting people know that I'm spending more time on this project because you keep coming back with revisions and edits and you didn't say it up front? So now I'm spending what I used to spend an hour and I make $50 an hour. Now I'm spending an hour and a half or 2 hours and I'm still only getting paid $50. We need to talk. So are you in where you wouldn't talk, you just would soak it up and be upset and frustrated and take those frustrations out on either yourself by overeating or being doing something else rather than facing it head on and just being free of it after you deal with it. Um, do you have the same writer marketing strategies? Do you do the same things? Do you go to the same job boards over and over? Do you try to market the same way? Have you revised in any way your writer portfolio? Have you revised your resume? Have you revised your cover letters? Or are you sticking with the same thing, even though you're not getting the results you want? Even though you're not getting the results that would allow you to pay all your income through freelance writing, are you just refusing to change? There might be a limiting belief there that's holding you back. Do you feel fear when change at any level, at any way, enters your life? Do you feel fear if a child moves out? Do you feel fear if your refrigerator just doesn't work the same way it always has worked? Do you feel fear, or your car makes a funny noise or something, and you're constant now you're afraid, you're building it up into more than it is, or a client tells you that they no longer need your services, they're moving in a different direction, or a client asks you to approach a project differently, inject more humor into your writing, or I want you to go more list writing, or I want more images. You could just walk away from it altogether, but at some point, why wouldn't you take on some different forms of writing? That's the way you can expand and grow your skill set, and then build your confidence and ask for more money confidently from clients. But you have to be honest with yourself. When any little change comes into your life, do you feel afraid? There could be a limiting belief that's keeping you right where you are. But there's something else in us, and I believe it's in all of us. It wants to soar. So now you're in conflict. You're in conflict with that part that wants to soar, that knows you're worthy of soaring, worthy of more. And then the other fear limiting that's saying, no, stay right here. And subconsciously, it keeps keeping you there. You're going to have to find a way to be honest with yourself, to catch yourself when you do these things. You may feel uncomfortable at first. You may feel uncomfortable at first when you apply for a job at a higher level, but do it. You may feel afraid when you ask for or apply for jobs that pay more, but do it. It's up to the hiring manager to tell you no. It's not. Don't tell yourself no while you're applying for something. Let that hiring manager say no, and then you can ask them why you didn't get it and make some changes so you can go forward and get it next time. There is absolutely nothing to be afraid of, especially if you realize how awesome, and I do mean awesome, that you are. So I want to thank you for tuning in to this Chistel, CHISTELL.com YouTube channel. I hope you'll go over to our website again. It's chistel.com. And I hope you'll get a copy of my book, Love Pour Over Me by Denise Turney. Please subscribe to our chistel.com YouTube channel. And remember, you're amazing. I can't say that enough. I just hope one day you'll truly believe it. Bye for now.